We've power scaled the demon primarchs before, but that was only the beginning. In today's video, we're going even further into the cow hole. A lot further, folks. Because this time around, we're ranking every single demon prince in Warhammer 40K to determine who stands as the strongest in the current setting. From the godlike monstrosities like Be'lakor, all the way to Lorgar, the demon primarch, who thinks preaching harder makes you stronger. We're covering them all. Before we jump into it, fair warning, we won't be including demon princes with little to no lore. Because if we did, this video would literally be impossible. Even with that rule, there are still a boatload of demons to rank. Think of this video as a prelude to the one I'm really looking forward to doing, ranking every single Primarch form. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, every Primarch evolves throughout 40k, some get amped by the warp, others by chaos, but regardless the cause, they get stronger, so of course your favorite autistic cow is hopelessly fixated on ranking them all, every variation and form. I've actually potentially found a collab to do this, but convincing someone to actually power scale 50 plus Primarch forms might be the most autistic thing ever attempted on this channel. And that's saying something. But I am so goddamn ready to do it. But in regards to this Demon Prince ranking, it's gonna be a long one. So make sure you've got a plate of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, a barrel of milk, and maybe, just maybe, even a Halloween themed blanket. Say it with me, fellas. It's time to power scale. Hello, it is your favorite falling cow back with another Powerscaling Peeps video. Today, we are tackling all of the demon princes, and I know you may be thinking, I don't know who half of these motherfuckers are. Well, you would not be wrong. I had no idea any of these folks existed until I did this video. So, I mean, I know that Be'lakor and then like Barban and obviously the demon primarchs, but there are 60 of these fellows we're going to be ranking today, and some of them are really cool, and some of them get beat by chapter masters, and even worse than that. So it's going to be a wide spectrum. We have 7 tiers we're going to be doing for these 60 fellows right here. But before we get into the tiers, remember folks, this is a Falling Cow power scaling tier list, or just a tier list in general. I don't think I've done one of these for quite some time. I think the last one I did was ranking all the Horus Heresy books, which was, if I remember correctly, almost 3 hours long. So hopefully this video isn't going to be as long as that, but don't get your hopes up. As you can tell, I get a little too sidetracked sometimes with the ADHD takeovers, but I'm going to try my best to stay on topic. As always with the Falling Cow power scaling video, like I was saying, but once again I got distracted. What am I wearing, folks? What is your favorite gravity defining cow wearing? I am wearing a pair of Star Wars Darth Vader pajamas. That is a Darth Vader pajamas. They are black and pink, and they look absolutely fabulous. As for my shirt or tank top, I am wearing a Lilo and Stitch tank top that says hashtag weekend plans, and Lilo is eating, or no, Stitch is eating an ice cream cone. Quite the fit for quite the video. And what would a tier list be without a cup of coffee? Let me take a sip real quick. Gotta have that ASMR coffee. It's an essential to every tier list. Just a couple more ground rules before we jump into explaining these 7 tiers. Let's talk about what a demon prince is. So a demon prince is a mortal warrior who, through the acts of great violence or destruction, has been transformed by a chaos god or several into a powerful quasi-demonic being. Now, on paper, demon princes are usually some of the strongest beings in 40k. I originally thought that most demon princes were stronger than greater demons, but I believe that opinion was false. As for my research, I've seen a lot of weak demon princes, and I just simply can't say that on paper, a normal demon prince would be stronger than a greater demon. I actually think it's reverse, a greater demon is stronger than a normal demon prince. But that's besides the point. Most of these demon princes are going to vary wildly in power. Some of them, like the demon primarchs, are going to be obscenely powerful, and then some of the other ones, like the lower tier demon princes that were originally like mortal space marines, are going to fare way less. The reasons for this is it's mainly because of how much juice the Chaos Gods gave to their mortal vessels, but I also think it's just because of inconsistent writing and that GW wants to invent demon princes and just have them killed off just to show a named space marine is cool, or to raise the stakes and have the demon prince look all scary and stuff and then get blown up by a melt-a-bomb or something silly. But yeah, these demon princes are all going to vary wildly in strength and power, as you'll see throughout this video. Now let's get to the tiers. So we have 7 in total. We have Cosmic, Planetary, High Primarch, Low Primarch, Empowered, Chapter Master, and the newest addition goes Bums. I was originally thinking of doing 8 tiers, maybe even 9, cause spoiler, there's gonna be a lot of folks landing in this range, because like I just said, the demon princes, they're not as powerful as me and probably most of you thought. But I decided to stick to 7, and if it gets a little cramped, it gets a little cramped. So let's go through each of these tiers and just talk about what they mean in the grand scale of power scaling. So Cosmic tier, what does Cosmic mean? Those who get placed in Cosmic tier are some of the strongest beings flat out in 40k. They are capable of manipulating, reshaping, or destroying entire galaxies. They are just below the multiversal forces of the 40k universe, so they're not as strong as the various gods in the setting like the Chaos Gods or Kork and Mork. They're not as strong as the Emperor on the Golden Throne, and definitely not as strong as Horus Lupercal at the height of his power. But they are still a force to be reckoned with. Then we have Planetary, which is just below Cosmic. The beings placed in this tier are capable of destroying 1 or more planets, but they are not as strong as those in Cosmic, where they are capable of destroying entire galaxies. Still pretty darn tootin' strong, but not as broken as Cosmic. So these 2 tiers, High Primarch and Low Primarch, will be referring to the base Primarchs, which is what I like to call the Primarchs at the height of the Great Crusade. They don't have any amps or enhancements, and they're not the versions they will eventually become. So when I talk about the enhanced forms, that means like Sanguinius during the assault on the Eternity Gate, the Lion in 40k who now has Forest Walk, or the various demon Primarchs or princes in the current setting. So when I'm talking about High Primarch or Low Primarch, these are the base forms, no enhancements, no nothing, just your standard guy. So High Primarch is the still incredibly powerful base Primarchs like Sanguinius, the Lion, and Angron, and then Low Primarch is the weaker side of the 18, so Guilliman, Lorgar, Alfarius. I hope that makes sense. So base Primarchs, but the higher side and the lower side. Then we have Empowered. So Empowered is a very diverse tier, I want to say. They are above Custodes or Grey Knights, but below Primarch level threats. They're still extremely dangerous, but they don't reach into the Primarch level status. Chapter Master, pretty self-explanatory. It's Chapter Masters. They're scaled exactly to Chapter Masters from Space Marine chapters. And then Cows Bums, oh my god, you suck balls. You shouldn't even be a Demon Prince. You probably scale to Mortal level, so probably 2 Space Marines. And like the title says, I think you're an absolute bum. I know some of you see Vashtor or Nemeroth. Well, I'm going to be throwing these guys in here. Vashtor's a demigod, kind of. He's a minor warp entity, but I thought it'd be fun just to compare him because he's fought Be'lakor in the past. So I just threw him in there. It's a silly cow rule, but you're going to have to deal with it. Last, but certainly not least, all these demon princes, their powers are going to vary based on which chaos god is ascendant at the moment. In this fictional power scaling ranking, we're going to imagine all the chaos gods are equal at the moment. So we're just going to be looking at their greatest feats and just overall power level. So with that said, I think we're going to kick this out. We have Undivided, Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch, and then we have the unknown demons. We're starting with Undivided with Angra Mainyu. So Angra Mainyu is a chaos god of undivided origin. He's a former wordbearer, fought on Calth, and there's not a lot on him, I'm not going to lie. He survived the battles on Calth. He was heavily wounded, and then he was saved by the Chaos Gods, miraculously healed, and he then ascended to demonhood. What did he do as a demon? Well, he flew out of control, he got incredibly rage-baited, and he failed attacking Imperial forces, and then due to this failure, he was turned into a chaos spawn by the Chaos Gods. So, right off the bat, we kind of have a bum. We have a huge bum. Imagine you get turned into a demon prince, you have all these amazing powers, and you're like, I'm going to go attack this Imperial world. Look out. Here comes Angra Mainyu. I'm going to fuck everything up. And you can't even defeat an Imperial army garrison, and you're so fucking lame that the Chaos Gods decide to turn you into a chaos bot. Yeah, let's put him in bum. So right off the bat, we have a chaos demon prince going in cows bums. I think it's a pretty simple explanation. Yeah, can't even defeat a planetary Imperial garrison, gets turned into a chaos spawn because he's such a failure. Then we have Barban Falk, the Iron Warrior, known formerly as the Warsmith, that recently ascended to Chaos Demon Prince status. I believe that was in the book Storm of Chaos, but we have not seen him since. So how will we power scale Barban Falk? And why did I even include him in the first place? Well, Barban is one of those notable 40k characters. Like him, I believe Julius Caesaron, where is he? Right here. And Ignatius Grulgor. Yeah, I'm gonna really fuck up some of these names, guys. Like what? Ss'll, Grulgor. Like some of these names are crazy, man. Imagine you get ascended to demonhood and you're like, I'm gonna pick some fucking wild names so no one can ever pronounce my name, and I'm gonna terrorize people. Oh my god, look out! It's Grulgor. Like, all right, buddy. But back to the point. Barban Falk, we haven't seen him since he ascended to demonhood, so how are we going to look at this? Now, like I stated earlier in the intro, I originally thought greater demons were weaker than demon princes, but I think it's actually the inverse. So when we're talking about a demon prince with literally no feats, we can only assume that they're definitely a powerful individual. They have enhanced stats, enhanced powers. They're usually going to use a lot of warp manipulation, but they're not going to be at a low Primarch level probably. So for people like Barban Falk, who have no feats but are still a demon prince, I'm going to say that they're going somewhere in the empowered tier. That they're well above a Custodes or a single Grey Knight or multiple Grey Knights, but they're not within the low Primarch tier. I hope that makes sense. So let's put Barban Falk into the empowered tier. I don't know if he's going to stay here or how he's going to do against the rest of the Chaos roster, but I think that's a pretty good spot for our boy Barban Falk. Next up, we have Mr. Be'lakor, Undivided King right here. Be'lakor the King, also known as the First Prince or the Dark Master. So he is the first mortal to ever ascend to demonhood, and right off the bat, it is said in the lore that he was the most powerful demon prince and that the Chaos Gods themselves could not enslave them to one of their will. So right off the bat, he is considerably powerful. I believe he's gotten weaker over time because more and more demon princes have been created and thus limited the true potential Be'lakor did have at one point, but he's still quite the master. So what feats does Be'lakor have? Well, he's been shown to be able to destroy whole planets. He's been able to enslave entire empires, and I think it's safe to say that he is by far one of the strongest beings in 40k. He wields the Blade of Shadows, which is a blade said to scythe through any armor and flesh without any resistance. It's insane, but most notably, his most notable feat, which happened actually recently, was against Vashtor the Archifane, where they fought in the Ark of Omens, and they actually dueled evenly for a time before Be'lakor retreated, having successfully completed his mission of being an asshole and disrupting Vashtor's mission, which he still succeeded. Vashtor still got the engine from the rock, but Be'lakor was trying to meme him. But they dueled evenly, so I feel like in order to really scale Be'lakor, we need to scale Vashtor. So we're going to do Vashtor pretty early on in this video. He was way down here. let's just scale them evenly. So Vashtor the Archufane is the demigod of invention and artifice. He's incredibly empowered by mortal curiosity, ingenuity, and obsession, and the warp manifestation of technology. So he is pretty damn strong. He is a minor chaos god. He is not one of the big four. He's not Nurgle. He's not on the same level as Nurgle, Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, but he is a demigod of the warp. He is incredibly powerful, to say the least. And he dueled Be'lakor evenly. He dueled them evenly, but I feel like now that Vashtor has completed his mission, he has the key, and he's still looking for the weapon, he is notably powerful now. Vashtor has insane abilities. He can corrupt and dominate any form of technology. He can infect machines with warp-born parasites. He can turn weapons, ships, and AIs against their masters. He's just kind of like a virus made manifest. In regards to battle abilities, he can absorb and redirect energy attacks, repair himself mid-battle, and fly with bladed metal wings that discharge lightning and shroud battlefields in a toxic smog. And now, given his success in the Ark of Omens campaign, he should theoretically be way stronger now that he has the key which allows him to teleport across the whole universe at will. We don't really know if he's got the weapon yet because the Ark of Omens campaign concluded in 2022, and if I'm looking at my calendar right, that was 3 years ago, and we have heard nothing about that, which makes me want to drive into a wall at 120 miles per hour. But I digress. I would say Vashtor is easily one of the strongest beings in 40k, although he doesn't really have the best combat stats. I mean, drew with Be'lakor pre-Ark of Omens victory, but he also has an anti-feat of getting wounded by Azrael, who is just a chapter master. So he's kind of all over the place, but I don't want to make that anti-feat drop him super low, if that makes any sense. I think Vashtor as a demigod is cosmic tier, especially now that he has the key. He should be theoretically incredibly powerful, and he should be more powerful than when he dueled Be'lakor. I think Be'lakor is a planetary level demon prince, while Vashtor is a cosmic level demon prince. I hope that makes sense. I may have been a little stretching or grabbing at a few straws there, but there's just no way that Vashtor is not at least planetary. But I just feel like with the key and with how powerful he is, he's trying to become a fucking full-on chaos god, and he's like one step below that. So using that theoretical power scaling logic, if the chaos gods are up here in multiversal and he's one step below, it makes sense that he's cosmic. And then if he's stronger than Be'lakor when they tied, it makes sense that Be'lakor is planetary. Yeah, that tracks to me. I'm trying to make sense. It's so stupid though that Vashtor was wounded by Azrael. That is like so silly, and it really shows that power scaling 40k is way fucking harder than people think. But we're gonna do it anyway, folks. Woo! All right, who's up next? We got a crazy name here. We have Gralastyx. Gralastyx? I hope that's how you say that. He is another member of the Black Legion, Demon Prince of the Black Legion, from the 5th edition of the Sisters of Battle Codex. He doesn't really have a ton of lore, but we know he fought Saint Celestine in battle. He didn't do great against her. He honestly kind of got fucked up and beheaded and decapitated and banished. He didn't really put up a fight. It's not really noted in the Codex that he put up a fight. So if Saint Celestine, we're going to scale her to low Primarch. I know that's a crazy statement to make. I was chatting in the Discord and we all were kind of in agreement that her feats of slaying multiple greater demons and demon princes relatively easy puts her at low Primarch. So if she's at low Primarch and she brutalized Gralastyx, yeah, I mean, that looks like how it says it. I don't know. I'm going to put him in Chapter Master. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid ranking. He got absolutely obliterated by a low Primarch foe. I think he'd fare pretty well against a Chapter Master, so I'm going to just throw him in Chapter Master tier right off the bat. So next we have the Horned God. So the Horned God is another undivided Demon Prince of Chaos. He doesn't really have a ton of feats, but he does have a really good showing during the Ashen War against the Exorcist chapter. During that battle, his feats include absorbing and tanking bolter and las rounds, soloing an entire squad of Terminators, and destroying a venerable dreadnought. He was ultimately banished though by Malachite, a very powerful librarian. He was, I named him the champion of the Exorcist chapter. So he was defeated by a really strong Space Marine. So where does that put him? He doesn't really have any other feats besides that single battle, but I don't think we really need anything else. I mean, it's even stated that he and his forces were able to decimate a third of the Exorcist chapter. So when you pair that with his already established feats, tanking bolter rounds, soloing Terminators, and even defeating a Dreadnought, I feel like he's either in Empowered or Low Primarch. Now, Low Primarch might be kind of stretching it a little bit. Like, the Primarchs in here are not even that weak on paper. I mean, you have Guilliman, who is able to survive outside of his ship without a helmet on. Lorgar's tanking plasma bolts. I just don't think that the Horn God scales that far up, so I'm going to leave him Empowered. His feats are still impressive, but I think Empowered is a really good spot for him. So next, we have someone you've probably all know if you've read the Horus Heresy books. We have Ingethel the Ascended. So she was in the book The First Heretic and was honestly a chief reason why the Wordbearers fell to chaos. I'm trying to remember correctly. She was a human originally, obviously, since she's a demon prince, and she was ascended by a ritual that entailed multiple human sacrifices and a custodian. So she came to power, and then she guided Argyle and the others from the Serrated Sun chapter into the warp, where they all became the half-possessed demon marines known as the Galvor Back. So what else do we know about her? Well, fellas, that's about it. That's literally it. She's in the First Heretic, and then she appears later on the Vengeful Spirit. That's literally it. She doesn't have any real combat feats. And even crazier, I was researching this video. I was looking up how strong is certain characters, and I was trying to find like tangible feats for this fella right here. And I found a thread from 2011 where Aaron Dubinsky Bowden himself confirmed that she is not a straight up combatant demon prince. She is not powerful. She is good at manipulating the warp and its tides, but that's it. She's not that. So for a demon prince, that's pretty lame. It seems like she's more of a narrative device, a plot device, than an actual powerful demon, if that makes sense. So for a demon prince not have any powerful abilities or anything like that, you're going in cow's bum. I don't think you're as much of a bum as Angra Mainyu right here, but come on, like, you're a demon prince and you're not even that strong. Like, I don't think she would even scale to a space marine, because Argyle did not seem threatened by her in the slightest, and that might have been Argyle being delusional, but I just don't see it. Like, I mean, if you really want to go down the cow hole here, she wasn't even present during the Siege of Terra, when many demons, including Be'lakor, Kugath, Skarbrand, countless demons were fighting on Terra, and she is not remarked to be there. So I can just assume from that she's not a combatant. She probably would not be able to face a Space Marine down, and she's easily, say it with me folks, a bum. Before moving on, I want to say I just kind of zoomed in the screen a little bit more, so don't be bewildered that now the screen is zoomed in. I thought this would just look better. I probably should have done this from the beginning, but a cow makes mistakes sometimes, guys. A cow makes mistakes. So I hope this is just a better view, because now you can see more of the demons a little bit clearer than the further zoomed out view. So next we have Kernax Voldorius, who is a Alpha Legion demon prince, also known as the Strike Master. So this is an interesting one, I'm not gonna lie. So he has been stated in the lore to have slaughtered millions and billions of people, and he's rampaged across 3 worlds, destroying their population. So that sounds like way up here. Sounds like planetary to high primarch. He sounds like a beast. But he meets his end when he's defeated by a tag team duo of Corsaro Khan and Kayvon Shrike. So he's defeated by 2 chapter masters. So where the hell do you put him? That's the pickle. He's stated to have killed billions, but then he can't defeat 2 chapter masters. It's a huge anti-feat that you just simply can't ignore. So where does that put him? I would say that he... I don't think he's chapter master, but I don't think... It's either borderline low primarch or it's straight at the top of empowered. I'm gonna say top of empowered. I don't want to reach and put him in low primarch, but being defeated by 2 chapter masters is not exactly the greatest feat. But it's just inconsistent. Honestly, it's just inconsistent writing, guys. Like the writing says he slaughtered billions and continued his rampage across Kento, Lauren, and Blind Hope. So he just slaughtered the populations from 3 separate worlds, but then is defeated by 2 chapter masters. What the hell, Games Workshop? I know this guy is probably irrelevant to you, but come on. Make it make sense, man. But yeah, I gotta throw him in empowered, because you're losing to 2 chapter masters. At the end of the day, they're 2 chapter masters, so they're strong combatants. They have a lot of prowess. They're still Space Marines. So if you're losing to a Space Marine, albeit a really strong one, he's still a Space Marine, and I gotta put you empowered. I think he's top of empowered. You could make an argument for low Primarch, but I don't see it. If his combat prowess isn't that strong that he loses to 2 chapter masters, then I'm gonna put him empowered. Next, we have Kor Megron, who is a Wordbearer's Demon Prince, and just like everyone else apparently on this list, he doesn't really have a lot of lore feats, but he does have one notable duel we can talk about, which is against, you guessed it, Cato Sicarius. And in that duel, he actually defeats him, surprisingly. But of course, in typical Ultramarine fashion, Kor Megron is distracted by a bayonet. Yes, a guardsman runs up and stabs him with a bayonet, distracting Kor Megron and allowing Cato Sicarius to stab him in the balls. So Kor Megron is defeated by a surprise attack by Cato Sicarius. So where does that leave him? If he is distracted by a little tiny poke of a bayonet, which I think would not even touch some of these other big boys on the list, I think he's easily in Chapter Master, simply because of the fact that he was able to defeat Cato Sicarius. Now you could make the argument for Cow's bums, but Cato Sicarius has defeated a Necron Lord in single combat, which may be a bullshit feat, but he has done it, which means I would scale Kor Megron to Chapter Master. Next, we have one of my favorite Demon Princes because he's so funny. I renamed him Makar the Respawner because he constantly fucking dies. He ascended during the Battle of Kalth, and since then he's done diddly squat. I think he's actually dead in the current setting. He had like a true death. But I'm going to list every single time this guy has died. He's been killed by Kaldor Drago twice. He's been killed by Marneus Calgar. He's been killed by Uriel Ventress and Mephiston, who literally chokes the life out of him like Fulgrim does to the Avatar of Cain. He's literally a loser. He just dies constantly. I think his sole purpose in Warhammer 40K is to serve as a feat builder for characters like Marneus Calgar, Mephiston, or Kaldor Drago. To make those characters look super powerful, Makar has to fucking die over and over and over again. He's a bum. This dude's just an easy cow's bum. I'm gonna put him at the very bottom because it just doesn't do anything. He comes in, he's like, "Hi, I'm Makar. Bow before me, I am the Demon Prince," and then he's dead. He's just dead before he can even finish monologuing. It's pathetic, and he is truly dead in the current setting. An easy cow's bum. Alright, next is the antagonist from the first Space Marine game, Nemeroth, who partially ascended. He did not fully ascend to Demonhood, I want to get that first straight, but he was really close to reaching Demonhood before Titus beat the living shit out of him. This is pretty easy. He's almost a Demon Prince. He's partially ascended. Can't beat Titus though. He can't beat Titus even with all his shenanigans going around, and I would scale Titus to probably around here. I'm just gonna put him in Chapter Master. They're pretty similar. I would honestly scale them to, and he loses. I would scale him probably ahead though. He loses to Saint Celestine, which is by far the best, even though he gets absolutely dunked on. I think this is good to go like this. I mean, how do you lose when you're about to ascend to Demonhood to just a random Space Marine, even if he is the protagonist? Still, imagine being such a loser that you don't even make the second Space Marine game. Tisk. So after an absolute flop and a bum, we have Periclitor, who is a Demon Prince of Chaos and Divided and a former Wordbearer's Lord. His feats are actually pretty damn remarkable. He slaughtered Saints, destroyed Grey Knights, and annihilated the Howling Griffin's 8th Company, killing their Chapter Master. which sets him at least above empowered. He is only slain after a brutal 24-hour duel with Chief Librarian Mercano of the Howling Griffins chapter. So if he was able to fight him for 24 hours, kill a chapter master and an entire 8th company, along with Grey Knights and Living Saints, this guy is easily low Primarch to high Primarch tier. Now if we look at Mercano a little bit more, we can see that he in himself is a powerhouse. Mercano defeated Sarpedon, who wields the Soul Spear, a weapon that is comparable to a Vortex missile, which Sarpedon later used to kill a Demon Prince himself. Given that Mercano needed an entire day and night to kill Periclitor, his power is absolutely insane. I would say Periclitor ranks in the high Primarch or top a low Primarch. I'm going to go with high Primarch tier, able to wipe out a whole company, a chapter master, Grey Knights, Living Saints, and one of the strongest Chief Librarians in the current setting. I would say he's our first placement in high Primarch tier. And then we reach Krieg Acerbus, who is one of the few Night Lord Demon Princes. He is mentioned a lot during the Night Lord Ambius, I'm pretty sure, but he doesn't overtly get seen or really do anything. He leads the largest Night Lord's warband, but that's all we really know about him. He is considered brave and ruthless, and his name carries a lot of weight amongst chaos. But he has no combat feats, so what do we do with him? I'm just going to put him in front of Barban Falk. He has no feats, but if he was able to keep the whole Night Lord's chapter or warband from falling apart, he's got to be at least somewhat powerful. I don't think I want to put him in low Primarch just based on that assumption alone, but I'm going to throw him in empowered, simply due to the fact that he leads the largest Night Lord warband, and the Night Lords are known for being absolute dickheads, so if he's able to keep these dickheads under control, he's got to be at least decently powerful. And then we come to the Demon Primarchs. Oh boy. Starting with Mr. Lorgar Aurelian. So we've ranked the Demon Primarchs in the past. It's my most popular video on my channel, and we ranked it Magnus 1, Angron 2, Fulgrim 3, Perturabo 4, Morty 5, and Lorgar 6. And I feel like that's still pretty true, but we'll probably get more into it when we actually rank them. But let's talk about Lorgar first. So Lorgar was a pretty strong psyker when he was a normal Primarch, so that carries over to his Demon Primarch stance. So now let me just talk about the Demon Primarchs and how they compare to the Demon Princes first. So the Demon Princes are all inherently weaker than the Demon Primarchs because first off, they're Primarchs, and then now enhanced by their warp status, they are now inherently superior to almost every demon being. It's just common sense. You have a mortal who is ascending, so a base human, space marine, regardless, they're ascending. And you have a Primarch, which are already demigods, now ascending to chaos, so they're becoming almost gods on paper. It's insane, the difference. So Lorgar, a Demon Primarch of Chaos Undivided. What are his powers and abilities? So he has your basic Demon Prince stats. He has enhanced strength, speed, power, flight, and warp manipulation, along with his already enhanced psyker powers. Now, he's rumored to have mastered Enuncia, and I haven't clearly seen this. I've seen bits and pieces of scattered lore throughout the 40K universe that it may be true, it may not be true, but I'm going to say in this case it is true that he has fully mastered Enuncia. So where does that put him? It automatically puts him in planetary. I want to say he's probably over Be'lakor any day of the week, even though Be'lakor is one of the strongest demon princes in existence. If Lorgar has mastered Enuncia, he can destroy planets by speaking words. Enuncia is one of the most broken abilities in 40K, and no one ever fucking uses it, man. I mean, Erebus uses it in the Siege of Terra series. John Grammaticus uses it a lot. I mean, Enuncia is even seen to hurt Horus Lubrical at the height of his power. So Enuncia is by far one of the most broken abilities, and if Lorgar has theoretically mastered it, he is on another planet entirely. But the problem with Lorgar and many of these other Demon Primarchs like Perturabo, kind of Fulgrim, but not the other ones, is they haven't really came back, so to speak. They are still being held behind the curtain by Games Workshop. that all their feats are either, I'm theorizing from what their base Primarch forms have done, or what we've seen in like Flashpan, like the Shadow of the Past, for example. That's the only time we've ever seen Demon Primarch Lorgar in a combat, and he gets mollywopped. Corvus Corax sticks his shadowy, hate-filled hand up Lorgar's butt and just beats him up. And the excuse for that is Lorgar just ascended to demonhood, was trying to go into seclusion, and had a portal open, so his power was already being sapped by that portal. So you could make that argument, but we just don't really see Lorgar do much, and he gets beat by a warp-touched Corvus Corax who has fully embraced his abilities. He's able to pretty much shapeshift, but still, if you're a Demon Primarch with a Nuncia and all of your other base abilities and you're a strong Psyker, you should have been able to frickin' screw Corvus. You should have been able to atomize him like Magnus, or even atomize the planet. And since you're a Demon Primarch, it wouldn't matter because you would eventually come back reborn. So, since Lorgar doesn't do any of this, I don't think he's fully mastered Enunciar, or at least not that we've seen, or the level that he's rumored to be on, or he's just not that strong. But either way, he's still a Demon Primarch, he's a strong Psyker, he's really good at manipulating the warp and reality. He's planetary easily, but I don't think he's going beyond that. I just wish we saw more of him, and that's going to become a underlining theme throughout this video, where we don't see lots of feats from different characters, and I'm pretty sure I already said that, but I just want to reiterate that so you don't kill me in the comments, fellas. So after Lorgar, we have the other Demon Primarch of Chaos Undivided, Perturabo. And since Perturabo has a straight up duel with Mortarion during the War of Rust and Ruin, I'm just going to compare both of them at the same time. So, in my Demon Primarch video, if you guys remember, I put Perturabo over Mortarion because of the fact that they battled for 9 straight hours and there wasn't a conclusive winner. The excerpt from the War of Rust and Ruin stated that Mortarion's army was able to outlast Perturabo's Iron Warriors as they all decayed and were slowly dying. Thus, Perturabo had to retreat from the battlefield. It didn't exactly state that he lost in a straight up duel, and that's kind of where this pickle comes from, so to speak. So let's just look at both of their feats and truly decide this once again. So Perturabo in his base form as a Primarch does not really do much, I'm not gonna lie. He is a genius and a great general, but he doesn't really have a lot of combat feats, and I feel like both of them are a little similar in that. I mean, Mortarion has better combat feats, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But Perturabo, his story goes up and down throughout the Horus Heresy. He gets considerably weakened during the events of the Angels Exterminatus, where Fulgrim takes a good portion of his life force, and he is slowly dying throughout the Horus Heresy, and I think it's one of the prime reasons he ascends to Demon Primarchhood at the end of the Horus Heresy or the beginning of the Scouring. We don't fully know, but it's sometime after the Iron Cage event. So in that weakened state, he actually faces down Demon Primarch Angron, and he's able to tank several hits from him, meaning that he is one durable motherfucker. He's in a very considerably weakened state, and he's able to take on a Demon Primarch. He doesn't necessarily win in a straight up single combat as a lot of people think. It's actually insane how many people think that Perturabo defeated Angron. It was more like he was able to tactically beat him. It wasn't a straight up duel. Perturabo didn't just straight up beat him. He drained him of his powers using robots and his tactical brilliance to overcome the Demon Primarch. If it was straight up Perturabo trying to beat down Angron, it would have been an easy loss for the crybaby himself. But Perturabo does have that incredible feat, which shows that he is pretty damn durable. Does he have any other feats of worth? Not really. We just know he's one durable mother hecker, and in his enhanced Demon Primarch form, he should be even more durable. He should be able to manipulate the warp at will, and all of his stats should be increased. Now we look at Mortarion. Now Mortarion has one real enemy throughout the Horus Heresy, and that's Jagatai Khan. And Jagatai Khan draws with him while they are both fighting in their base forms, and then Mortarion later loses to base Jagatai Khan. Why? Well, Jagatai Khan kind of sacrifices his life to kill Mortarion, but he does defeat him. So Mortarion has the anti-feat of losing to a base Primarch, while Perturabo has a slightly good feat of being in a weakened state and still taking on a demon Primarch at the height, like Angron. So where does that leave us? I know a lot of folks are like, Cal, come on, dude. The War of Rust and Ruin stated that. No, it really didn't, guys. Like, I'm going to pull it up right now and read it to you guys right now. It is a battle reminiscent of the incredible conflicts of the Horus Heresy, and Perturabo's sons caused terrible damage to the Death Guard force. Yet the longer the fighting rages, the more contagion poxes of the Death Guard spread through the Iron Warrior ranks, ancient heretics sicken and collapse, malevolent war engines seize with rust and shudder, sparking to a halt, machine spirits go mad with pain as the powers of decay run rampant and the battle swings in Mortarion's favor. With his forces in tatters and many of his precious war engines crippled beyond repair, even bitter Perturabo is finally forced to concede defeat. Falling back to pre-prepared defense lines, he detonates a series of explosive trenches amidst the raging storms and disengages in the ensuing mayhem. Badly mauled, but victorious, Mortarion and its Death Guard lay claim to the heathen temple they fought so hard for, and the ancient secrets that lay at its heart. That's from the 8th edition Death Guard Codex. So where does that exactly leave us? It doesn't really give us a lot of information to work with, but we know that Mortarion's forces were able to outlast and defeat Perturabo even after they reaped a vicious tally. So, where does that leave us yet again? Man. Mortarion did defeat Guilliman, but that's not really that impressive. Guilliman's kind of a bum. He's definitely low Primarch, and Mortarion beat the hell out of him. Man, they're both planetary. I think we can easily agree on that, and I think they're both over Be'lakor yet again. So I don't know. This is tough because my reasoning is solid. I feel like Perturabo did not necessarily lose, but I mean Mortarion's feats are not that bad. Like losing to Jagatai Khan isn't that bad of an anti-feat. He's number 8 in my mind in terms of the Primarchs. He's definitely a high tier Primarch, and losing to him isn't like the worst thing in the world. This is tough. I'm just gonna leave that like this for right now, and I'm gonna come back to it because this is tough. They're really equal, man. They're really close. If they were able to fight for 7 hours straight against each other without one of them really losing, and Perturabo was able to tank Nurgle's diseases, I mean, he's Chaos Undivided, so that theoretically means that he can also use Nurgle's powers as well as Khorne's, Slaanesh's, Tzeentch's. He can use all of them. He's more versatile. He's obviously very tanky. I wouldn't say as tanky as Mortarion, but he's still pretty tanky that he can outlast him or at least fight him for 7 hours, which is supposed to be Morty's, bread and butter. I'm just going to leave it like this for right now. Perturabo over Mortarion, but I could see how it could easily switch. I'm just going to leave that for right now. All right, now we get to Khorne, and we have some crazy mother heckers here. Khorne has some of the crazier guys in the setting. Will they have the best, though? We're gonna do that at the end. I think that's kind of a fun idea to see which god or faction or whatever has the strongest demon princes. Make your bets right now. I think it's gonna be Khorne. I'm feeling the Khorne right now. So we have Arnokh first, Arnokh the Bloodlord, and he is a demon prince of Khorne. He's faced the Astra Militarum, Sisters of Battle, and the living Saint Celestine again. So comparable to Gralastyx right here, but he actually put up a really good fight. He actually managed to wound her and was nearly about to beat her before she had, I'm not kidding, plot armor saver. A divine light sprouted from Saint Celestine and killed Arnokh. So he won in single combat, but then lost to plot armor. So I'm going to put him in low Primarch. I think that's a pretty easy spot. He defeated a low Primarch being. He did not win, though, because of plot armor, and I don't think he's up here in high Primarch. Pretty simple. Arnokh, low tier. So this is the first time we see an order of demon princes, and I really love it when demon princes make like alliances and stuff like that. So this is the first time we see this, and it has made up these 4 demons right here. They make up the Infernal Tetrad. So we have Arkgar, the World Slayer, Mordok, the Rotten, Zinkar from Tzeentch, and Malik Nil from Slaanesh. So all these guys are part of the Infernal Tetrad. So what feats do all these guys have? So they all took part in the Siege of Fenris campaign, and they all fought Logan Grimnar and his Wolfguard. So how did they fare against him? Not really that great. These guys are supposed to be really strong. I mean, Argar single-handedly exterminated the population of an entire planet. Mordok, his endurance is supposed to be nearly impossible to... He's supposed to be unstoppable. Zinkar can apparently change reality with a look. And Malik Nil is apparently his presence causes madness to everyone around him. So, right, they should be really powerful. They should whop Logan Grimnar and his Wolfguard. Well, during the Siege of Fenris, they all lost. All 4 of these guys were defeated by the Wolfguard. The text doesn't go to extreme detail on how these fights went, but they all lost. All 4 demons were banished by the end of the Siege of Fenris and returned to the warp. So they lost to a chapter master. Logan Grimnar is pretty damn powerful. You could even make the claim that he is in the low Primarch tier, and I think I could support that answer. I mean, he wounds Demon Primarch Magnus, for crying out loud. And he can run in Terminator armor. Come on, fellas! But still, like, he's a Space Marine. He's still a Chapter Master. He's a really powerful one, but still a Chapter Master. So, these guys all lost to Logan Grimnar. Now, what about the Wolfguard? How would you scale the Wolfguard? So, usually a Space Marine Chapter Master's personal guard is made up of 12 to 20 elite guard Terminators. And I would say each of those Wolfguard at the highest were maybe Chapter Master level. Let's just say they were all Chapter Master level. So that means they lost to 12 to 20 Chapter Masters, adding Logan Grimnar, who's a low Primarch. That's not exactly the most impressive loss. It's more of an anti-feat than anything. If they collectively could not beat that, I'm just going to throw them in Chapter Master. They're not really in any order. I'm just going to say they're all equal. They're probably ahead of these guys, I want to say. Probably ahead of this guy. They're probably the top of the Chapter Master. But if they couldn't beat the Wolfguard and Logan Grimnar, I'm just going to leave it like that, honestly. You could make the argument for Empowered, but I don't really see it. If they were above a Custodes, they should have been able to wipe the floor with the Wolfguard, but they didn't. So I'm going to leave them there. Kind of disappointing. It's like one of those like anti-feats that like really brings them down. Like who was it? Who was it that was like slaughtering planets? Oh yeah, Kernax Voldorius. Just like Kernax, like he was slaughtering whole planets, like billions of people. Just like it said, like with him, he slaughtered a whole planet by himself, and then he loses to a Chapter Master and his Wolfguard with the help of 3 other demons that are also supposed to be equally as powerful. Yeah, it's a pretty bad anti-feat that just brings them way down here. All right, next is the Blood Prince. The Blood Prince is a demon prince of Khorne who ruled a demon world deep within the Eye of Terror, and his greatest feat occurred when his world was invaded by the orc warboss Tuska. Now, Tuska, if we look at him a little bit closer, he had invaded 4 previous demon worlds and defeated the demon princes on those worlds. So, Tuska himself is already a pretty strong goddamn orc. One of the cooler orc warbosses, I may say. This guy literally snuck around Cadia just to invade the Eye of Terror so he could kill demons. What a guy. What a git. Wog. Can I get a wog in the chat? Wog. Sorry, autism. So, the Blood Prince fights Tuska, and he actually defeats him in single combat, but the Blood Prince dies in the process. So it's kind of a mutual draw. And then the Khorne brings them both back because the battle was so awesome that he wants to watch it over and over again. So they fight each other at the end of every single day on repeat. But where does that put the Blood Prince? I think with Tuska slaying multiple demon princes, he's clearly at least at low Primarch level, maybe slightly empowered, but I would say he's definitely a low Primarch level. Compared to Arnokh, though, let's think. So Arnokh's greatest feat was wounding Saint Celestine, not exactly beating him. The Blood Prince straight up beat Tuska. I'm going to put him ahead. Yeah, I'm going to put him ahead. The Blood Prince over... your boy Arnokh the Bloodlord. I think that's a good pick. And then we have Dav'aszk and Ker'ezkh, and these two are going to be ranked together because they have a 8 decades long rivalry. Now this comes from the 9th edition World Eaters Codex, and in it states that as these two fought their way towards each other, they left millions dead and planets absolutely destroyed. And when they finally fought, the world they were on top of was utterly devastated and shook from the blows they struck against each other. So if their fight is shaking the planet itself, they are at least high Primarch. I wouldn't go to say they're planetary because they can't outright destroy a planet, but they are able to shake it to its core. I'm going to say Dav'aszk, who eventually killed Ker'ezkh and decapitated him, is going to be high Primarch, probably higher than Periclitor, and I'll put Ker'ezkh right next to him here at high Primarch. I think that's a pretty strong scale. It's a really cool rivalry, to be honest. 8 decades long, millions dead. Like, that's fucking incredible. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid spot for them. I wouldn't go to say as far as planetary, because it doesn't seem like from the Codex they have planetary feats where they're absolutely destroying a whole entire planet. It seems like they're able to easily devastate populations, and their fight shakes the world they're on top of, but I wouldn't go as far to say that they can absolutely one-shot or destroy a whole entire planet. So I'm going to leave them in high Primarch. They're both really cool demon princes, and I think Khorne is absolutely loving these two fellas. So now we hit DOOMBREED. Now DOOMBREED is one of the oldest, most powerful demon princes of Khorne. It's said that he is as strong as the demon Primarchs, and I just don't think that's correct. I think that's more of like one of those things in the lore where it says supposedly he's as powerful as blah blah blah, but it's not true. He's not as powerful as a demon Primarch. I'm sorry, but some of his feats are pretty impressive. He has destroyed an entire planet. He was summoned on a planet during the Horus Heresy. He killed everyone on it and destroyed the world. That's easily places him in planetary. Where in planetary? Let's figure that out. So what else did he do? He's also destroyed a Chaos Warlord Titan, which is also very impressive. And he's wiped out 2 entire Space Marine chapters. Now, there's also the fact in the old lore that was recently retconned because of the End and the Death that DOOMBREED faced the Emperor down during the Horus Heresy at the climax of the Siege of Terra. This is no longer true. DOOMBREED never fought the Emperor. So he has 3 pretty good feats. Does that put him over Be'lakor? I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave DOOMBREED right here. I don't think he's over Be'lakor. Be'lakor is said to be one of the strongest demon princes. He's undivided. He has all 4 powers of the Chaos Gods. DOOMBREED is one strong fella, but I don't think he's scaling over Be'lakor. But still, he is able to destroy entire planets, kill millions, destroy titans, easily planetary. Still one of the strongest beings in 40k. But I wouldn't go as far to say that he is completely surpassing Be'lakor or even the Demon Primarchs. I know some folks would love to argue with me that DOOMBREED is stronger than the Demon Primarchs, but I just don't see how that's possible. Like we discussed earlier, I think all the Demon Primarchs are inherently stronger than all the Demon Princes in existence, when you don't consider the Great Game where the Chaos Gods' powers fluctuate and so do their servants. But when we're not considering that, I feel like the Demon Primarchs straight up are the strongest demons. Regardless if they are greater demons or demon princes, I still think the demon Primarchs shadow all of them. Obviously, Vashtor is the exception because he is a fucking demigod. So that's that. Then we reach the other second alliance of the demon princes, the Council of Despair, which is led by Kairos Fateweaver. Now, we're going to rank all 4 of these guys together. Rulgor Soulrender, Fester Bile, Lashweaver, and Kurzag the Enchanter. So all 4 of these guys represent the 4 Chaos Gods, Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Tzeentch, and their whole purpose is they transform entire planets into demon worlds. So they do this with the aid of Kairos Fateweaver, who handpicks these demon princes to represent each god, like I just stated, and together they destroy these worlds. How the fuck do we scale them? Well, we don't know anything about these guys, except for the fact that they are part of this elite council. So, what can we gather from that? Well, here's how I'm going to do that. If they are a part of this council, so Kairos Fateweaver handpick them to destroy planets and turn them into demon worlds. So they have to be at least competent. So they're definitely above in power tier. Now, they're turning entire worlds. Now, if we looked at the world they turned recently, it was a high world. So, billions of people probably there. Not a lot of military. So they're probably not high Primarch, I want to say. They're most likely either low Primarch or empowered, because they have to have Kairos Fateweaver's help, who's probably a planetary, or if you really want to get snappy, a high Primarch level opponent. But he's really fucking powerful. Kairos Fateweaver is probably one of the strongest greater demons in the setting. So if he is either right out here and right here, these four probably aren't going to match him in power or strength. So I'm going to put him in low Primarch, all four of them. I feel like that's a solid spot for them. I really don't see them being stronger than that, because if they were high Primarch to planetary, Kairos Fateweaver wouldn't need all of them unless he's doing it for symbolic reasoning. So that kind of, I guess that kind of tracks. But him himself is a powerhouse, and I don't think he would need 4 incredibly powerful demons to destroy one world. That would be like a whole system. If they were all high Primarch to planetary, that would be destroying like a whole system with Kairos alone. So I feel like low Primarch's a good spot for them. This is all fucking speculation at the end of the day, because we have no idea anything about these guys besides the fact that they are on this council. So I'm going to put the Council of Despair, led by Kairos Fateweaver, who we will be ranking in another video, in low Primarch tier. Definitely a hot take, and I hope I'm right about that one. You can argue with me in the comments, but once again, we really don't know anything about them, so let's just move on. Next is holy god, how do you say that? Ss'll Shakar. Ss'll Shakar. Yeah, there we go. So Ss'll Shakar is a pretty damn cool demon prince. He is huge, apparently Titan size. He ruled the demon world of Torvendis, and he turned the whole planet into an endless sea of blood. His feats include killing a Chaos Dreadnought, annihilating armies of fellow demons, including a demon prince, and he was able to literally control the planet's underground blood oceans through sheer willpower and psychic dominance. Yes, the man is a bloodbender. The first bloodbender in Warhammer 40K, maybe. What else? His presence apparently was able to induce uncontrollable bloodlust in all nearby beings, and he could even summon lesser versions of himself, like he's Naruto. He was only defeated when the planet below him came alive and ate him. That's chaos for you, I guess. So I think I'm going to throw him in high Primarch. Probably ahead of Periclitor. He's an absolute beast. Wow, Khorne is dominating the rankings so far. I mean, we've only done, what? We've only done Undivided and Khorne. Undivided, I guess, has these three. And I guess we already did Mortarion. But we already have a Planetary. We have fucking 3 high Primarchs. We have, holy shit, 3 low Primarchs. And no one else below that. Except for Mr. Arkgar right here. You're a bum. You let down the whole goddamn Khorne faction, you son of a bitch. But damn, like, look at the rest of this. This is insane. These guys are my favorite so far. Honestly, learning about these guys was an absolute joy. But Ss'll Shakar, you're a legend, man. That's crazy. You can clone himself and use bloodbending. Yeah, that's a first. I never thought I'd see that in Warhammer 40K. But I guess when I think about it, there is a guy who's literally named, like, what, Obi-Wan Sherlock something, an Inquisitor. I think that might have been incorrect saying that, but damn, the more you know. The more you know about silly Warhammer 40K. Now this one, I'm going to try to really sound this one out. So the next guy we have right here, he is our second to last Khorne Greater Demon before we hit the Witness, who is a Khorne and a Nurgle Demon. That's, I think, the only hybrid demon prince we have on the list. And then we have Mr. Angry Ron himself. So this guy, Uraka Az'baramael. I totally didn't say that right, but you guys are going to have to deal with it because I'm just going to call him Uraka. So Uraka is a Demon Prince of Khorne, of course. He was known for his immense martial prowess, and he was once a warlord who slew a bloodthirster in single combat before his ascension. So he's already gotta be pretty goddamn strong to defeat a bloodthirster in single combat. He eventually would end up being banished by the Grey Knights, of course, but he did slay a lot of Imperial forces before this occurred. So what do we do with him here? So in his mortal form, he was able to kill a bloodthirster, okay? So if we go by that logic, he should be even more powerful now that he is a Demon Prince of Khorne. He should have enhanced strength, speed, flight, probably regeneration, psychic resistance. So he should be a lot more powerful now. So if he was able to kill a bloodthirster in his mortal form, he should be at least low Primarch form. You see, you like that power scaling little logic right there? Yeah, so do I. I'm going to put him in low Primarch. I'm going to put him ahead of at least these fellas because we have no idea. Oh, Gralastyx moved. Let's move him back. I think he was right here. Yeah, sorry. This is where it's supposed to be. Gralastyx is supposed to go. No, wait. Yeah. Yeah? Yes. I'm going to put him ahead of the 4 nobodies because we just don't have any feats besides maybe them being powerful. Highly speculative guess, but I'm going to put Mr. Fuck. How do you say his name again? Uraka right here. I think that's how you say it. I'm hoping that's how you say it. So now we move on to the only hybrid Demon Prince here. This is actually a Angron flip art right here. It's actually Angron as a Demon Prince of Nurgle. But I thought it was so cool that I wanted to put him as a witness because I'm not going to lie, some of these guys have no fucking art, and I was just kind of picking what looked cool. So that we have the witness. He is a Khorne and Nurgle demon. So he's got to be really fucking cool, right, guys? He's got to have some sweet fucking cool feats. Now he loses to a chapter master. Yeah, it said, despite his monstrous resilience, it was ultimately killed by none other than Marnea's Calgar, who crushed its skull in personal combat. That's a bummer. I think losing to Marnea's Calgar probably puts him right around here, I want to say. Probably ahead of Kor Megron, who lost to Kato, and Nemroth, who lost to Titus, who beat the shit out of him. So I'm going to put the witness right here. What a disappointment. Imagine being a Khorne and Nurgle hybrid. You have the rage of Khorne and the durability of Nurgle, and you lose to Marnea's Calgar beating you up with his fists. Not even shooting you or stabbing you with an ancient relic or something really cool. He punches you to death. That's gotta be tough. And then we come to the angriest boy, Mr. Angry Ron, the 4th Demon Primarch we've looked at so far, and this is an easy one, fellas. He is easily the strongest Demon Primarch we've ranked thus far. And I know some of you are thinking, wait, Cal, how is that possible? Angron loses to everyone. Well, Angron has lost to pretty much goddamn everyone, but when you look at his feats, it's pretty remarkable who he's faced. He's faced many Grey Knights, but when you look at the fights, the Grey Knights are in such a high quantity that they themselves are at an unprecedented level of power. Each time he's been banished by the Grey Knights, they've been in such high quantity and taken such high casualties that it's okay that he's lost to them because the feat in itself of killing that many Grey Knights is impressive. And if we look at his 2 Primarch losses to Sanguinius and Lionel Johnson, Sanguinius at that time is one of the strongest characters in fiction. You could argue him in Planetary, low-key. I really want to say that. Because he killed Kabanda and then he fights Angron and he beats him. He straight up beats him. And it's insane how powerful Sanguinius is at the Eternity Gate. And I don't think that's an anti-feat at all. I think it's a feat in itself that Angron was able to go toe-to-toe with that Sanguinius. And then if we look at his fight with the Lion, Angron is all over the Lion. I'm not saying the Lion was totally and utterly outmatched by Angron, but he had to rely on just overall his guile and strategy throughout the battle instead of trying to overpower Angron. Angron, just simply put, is the strongest physical Primarch by miles. It's not even close. This guy easily destroys planets by just existing. Now, when we get to Magnus, it'll be a different story, obviously, because he is the Psyker King. But Angron, he's just incredible. He can regenerate incredibly fast. And like I just stated, he's a physical powerhouse. He gets stronger the more he kills, you know, his rage, as he gets more and more angry and more empowered by death and blood around him. He gets just stronger and stronger and stronger. He's just a powerhouse, guys. It's pretty simple to see that. And the way that Games Workshop writes him sometimes is very frustrating. Hold on, I need a sip of coffee. How's everyone enjoying the video? Hold on. It's just very frustrating the way Games Workshop writes him, and honestly all the Demon Primarchs, because at the end of the day, these guys are immortal. They're immortal beings, and they can die, as opposed to the base loyal Primarchs, or just the loyal Primarchs in general, who can't die. So whenever they're going against, say, the Lion or Guilliman, they're not going to get the full-on win, because that's going to completely change the setting. And remember, folks, Warhammer 40K is centered on minis, and if you're going to kill off a character, you're not going to be able to sell those minis anymore. So they can kill off the Demon Primarchs as many times as they goddamn want, but when it comes to Mr. Girlyman or the Lion or whatever possible loyalist Primarch returns next, they can't kill them off or really make them disappear from the setting again, because once again, their minis won't sell. It's crazy that in the year 2025, the United States economy is controlling the Warhammer 40K lore. What a strange age we are living in, fellas. But enough of discussing the sad state of the Demon Primarchs and Games Workshop's writing. Where did I place Angron in my Demon Primarch video? I think I put him at 2, and I think that's where he'll probably remain. He's just got that rage going for him, and let's just say we compared him to the other Demon Primarchs. Mortarion is durable, so is Angron. Perturabo, I guess, is also durable and can use various technologies, and I guess he did withstand Angron, and he might be able to outsmart him, but in a straight up 1v1, how the hell is Perturabo going to handle Angron? And then Lorgar, do we even need to talk about that? Lorgar theoretically may be able to blast him away with Enuncia, but remember, folks, he is an agent of Khorne, a demon prince of Khorne. That means he is inherently resistant to Psyker attacks. He's just kind of the ultimate demon prince package, except for his brain. He's an idiot. I think in the Arc of Omens campaign, he is described as an animal. He can't even think anymore, which sucks. I really don't like the way they took that with Angron, but I guess it makes sense at the end of the day. I mean, the TLDR pretty much is that Angron has fought various high-powered enemies, Sanguinius, the Lion, and the Grey Knights. And remember, folks, the Grey Knights are the perfect weapon against demons like Angron, so for him to have killed an absurd amount of them before being banished every single time is quite the feat. And now that I'm looking at this, why the fuck is Lorgar ahead of these two? Oh boy. Let's debate this. So, we have to debate this. I can't put this off forever. Lorgar is probably back here. He is probably the 4th strongest Demon Primarch as of right now. I just don't really see him over Mortarion or Perturabo. If his Enuncia is so powerful, why did he not beat Corvus Corax? And you could also, like I stated earlier, make the argument that Lorgar was still at that time period, because I think the Shadow of the Past happens almost 100 years after the Horus Heresy. So you can make that argument that after 10,000 years, he has mastered Enuncia, but I can make the rebuttal, we don't know. We simply don't know, and I think with that evidence, we can put him in last place. This is the true debate here. Mortarion versus Perturabo. So then, in the War of Rust and Ruin, like I discussed earlier, and I guess we're going to have the same exact argument again because I've got to put it on myself. Perturabo is not stated to directly beat, Mortarion is not directly stated to beat Perturabo. But his army does triumph, but Perturabo withdraws because of his army losses. Oh, fuck. I need a sip of coffee for this one. If we look at their direct feats once again, Mortarion draws with a base Primarch and then loses to him in this state. Perturabo, in his weakened state, fights Angron and has a tactical victory, but kind of is able to hold off this bad boy before he's killed. So in his weakened state, he's still a durable Hecker, which I think is supported by the fact that he was able to survive a 7-hour duel with Mortarion, whose constant decay aura would have killed anyone else. Man. What to do? I think either way, I'm going to get a lot of hate. But I really feel like I think I should leave Perturabo here. Because it makes sense in my mind. If Perturabo is able to outlast or honestly fight Mortarion for 7 straight hours, where Mortarion's, that's his whole fight, is fighting like that. Fighting in an endurance-based battle, and Perturabo is still able to do that. Honestly, you could just say they're equal, and this is just, that's a pussy way to do that. I'm not doing that. We're figuring this out. This is a fucking Falling Cow video, and Falling Cow does not abandon hard power scaling, or dare I say autistic power scaling questions. We have to figure this out. The state of the universe is resting on our shoulders, man. Oh, fudge. I'm gonna say it's like so hard, because like he's not even back, and what we've seen from him is really not the best, but he has such great Nurgle sorcery and psychic abilities right now that he like easily beat Guilliman, and Guilliman should have been dead. Like, come on, folks, Guilliman should have been dead. And in their base states, they're both really close together, so you can't really judge it based on that. I mean, Perturabo now he's durable now, incredibly durable. He's a psyker now with a lot of Nurgle sorcery. He can manipulate the warp, regenerate, enhance strength, all the yada 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 demon prince abilities now. Same thing for Perturabo, enhanced strength, regeneration, very durable now, and he should be able to, I think we've seen throughout the Black Crusades, I think he helps Abaddon craft some heinous machines, and he's helping Vashtor, I believe, in the current setting. I could be wrong about that. And then we see from Perturabo the same exact thing. He's got a lot of demon... And then we see from Perturabo the same exact thing. He's enhanced, he's got regeneration, demon prince stats, increased strength, speed, possibly flight, we don't know yet, because once again, we haven't seen Perturabo in the current setting. It's hard to put simply one over the other, guys, but I'm gonna do it. I've said that before. I'm kind of delaying because I'm thinking in my head. I'm recording this really without a script, and I did not really think about this beforehand, and I should have. And now you're seeing the flaw. But you're not here to watch a coherent video. You're here to watch me ramble for I bet you we're almost at 2 hours, maybe. For almost 2 hours, maybe more. Yeah, if you guys watched that Horus Heresy book ranking, you were in for a long one. I really think Perturabo is stronger than Mortarion. He's smarter. He knows how to use the warp to manipulate technology, and he would probably be able to craft anything using any 4 of the Chaos God's abilities, because he's undivided to defeat Nurgle. And since he was able to fight for 7 hours against him, I think he would be able to beat Mortarion in a rematch. Because they straight up drew. Like, it's hard to draw from that excerpt that Mortarion straight up beat Perturabo. It states that his army was defeated, and due to these casualties, Perturabo withdrew. But you could also, I'm thinking now, you could also make the argument that why would Perturabo withdraw if he knew he could beat Mortarion? Oh, man, that's a good rebuttal. Yeah, you're right, Falling Cow. That was a good rebuttal. Wow. Oh, man. See, this is why I need a collab, guys, so we can, like, argue about this stuff instead of me just sitting in my little chair debating for, I don't know how long this segment is, like 20 minutes? All right, I took a brief moment to really look at this excerpt, and it really reads that there's, like, I don't know, it's like GW's like, fuck, we can't put one over the other. Let's make it so ambiguous that they can't fucking decipher it. Oh yeah, woo! That's how I'm imagining the Games Workshop writers studio was when they wrote that. They were like, that's a banger. They'll never be able to power scale Mortarion and Perturabo. And they were right. And here I am. I like the rebuttal that I came up with myself, that if Perturabo was so sure he could beat Mortarion, he would have stayed. But then again, Perturabo is a tactical genius, so he would know that the battle was lost. I feel like we should just put Morty over. But then again, he's Chaos Undivided, man. He's Chaos Undivided. So what do we do here, fellas? What do we do? I'm going to make a decision. Ooh. Okay, I got it. My final decision is I'm going to leave it like this. Perturabo has the blessing of all 4 Chaos Gods. Morty just has Nurgle. That means Perturabo can use Nurgle's blessing and is probably resistant to most of the magic and sorcery that Mortarion is going to throw at Perty. And since the War of Rust and Ruin does not really give us any details, I'm going to leave it like this. So I believe that my Demon Primarch video still stands to this day. Thank fucking God. All right. Let's move on to Angron second form. This is Angron from the Arc of Omens Angron book, where he has just destroyed the mini Astronomicon, and now Khorne has stepped into the picture. Using Angron as a fucking conduit, Khorne literally steps up from the Skull Throne and swings his goddamn ginormous schlong, or I guess you could say blade. Channeling all of his power through Angron, he does 4 things. He destroys an entire moon, and everyone on it dies. Angron is pulled back into the warp and is briefly peaceful for a second before being summoned on another world, and then the Butcher's Nails scream again and he starts killing everyone. Thirdly, Khorne struck down the entire star system with a murder curse, causing everyone in the entire radius except for Custodes, Grey Knights, and Sisters of Silence, who are immune to him, to become worshippers of Khorne and driven mad, killing everything around them. That's insane. Even more insane is that was the entire 5th Crusade fleet, which means I think a whopping 5% of the Imperium fell to Khorne within a second. Where does that put Angron? It puts him in Cosmic above Vashtor. This is like saying this is the Guilliman possessed form of the traitor side. This is Angron being used as Khorne as a weapon, as a conduit, and he wipes out a whole star system, turns them to Khorne, destroys a moon, and it's an incredible showing. Khorne gains thousands of new, or millions of new worshippers within a second, and he turns everyone in the fleet, regardless of who you are, except for the Custodes, the Grey Knights, and the Sisters of Silence. He takes out a whole star system, turns them to Khorne, a moon, and 5% of the Imperium's military might. That's insane. Beyond planetary, easily into cosmic. And that just shows what would happen if the Chaos Gods broke into reality. It'd be game over. But that will never happen because, first off, Games Workshop, they suck. They never want to progress the setting. And 2, the setting would be over. I mean, what would the Imperium do against 4 Chaos Gods fully walking across the galaxy and being able to do this? This is Khorne channeling a smidge of his power through one of his demons to do this. It's insane. And this form of Angron is easily in Cosmic. Now, Guilliman Possessed would probably be up here too. I don't know if he would be beating this form of Angron because that's an insane fucking feat to do all that. But Guilliman still, in his Possessed form, was able to wound Nurgle and destroy a portion of Nurgle's garden, which would probably put him over Vashtor as well. But I digress. I'll probably rank both this form of Angron and Guilliman Possessed in my Primarch form rankings, so just be very aware for that. I know some people don't like that for some reason, but hey, if we're trying to be as artistically sound as possible, we gotta rank every form. And that means even when Guilliman is possessed by the Emperor. Alright, who's next? Oh, we have Nurgle next. We have Nurgle, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and then the Unknown Demons, and then we're done. I think we're past halfway there. I think we're doing good so far. I think it's pretty accurate. This is the only thing I'm a little concerned about, but I think the rest of these are pretty straightforward. Once again, you can make the argument Be'lakor being anywhere over here or Doombreed being anywhere over here over the Demon Primarchs, but I really don't think a normal Demon Prince is over any of the Demon Primarchs. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I think the lore supports my decision. All right, now we move to Nurgle, the stinky little green boys. So we're starting things off with Botchulaz the Wracked, and he is our first Nurgle Demon Prince. He is featured in the book Ragnar's Claw, and what does he do? Well, he claimed to have fought the Emperor and actually would have been able to defeat him. He claimed that. But from what I see in his feats, that is completely and utterly untrue. This guy fucking sucks. If he told me, hey dude, I totally fought the Emperor, I'd look at him and I'd be like, yeah, sure, buddy, you sure did. This guy can't even defeat a small Imperial team of Space Marines, Sisters of Battle, and Astra Militarum. How the fuck would you be able to defeat the Emperor, dude? There's no fucking way. Throughout the book, he is trying to take over a whole planet, and he's unleashing millions of plague zombies, but it's not even his own power. He's using a mysterious artifact called the Black Pyramid, not related to Nagash. He sucks, and I think I'm just going to throw him like the back of Empowered, because I still think that he is at least not the worst demon in the world, and Ragnar Blackmane is a beast. He killed Ghazghkull Thraka, so he's already probably at the top of Empowered or something close to it. I think Botchulaz deserves to be here. You could argue this, but I don't want to be that big of a dick to this guy. So I'm gonna... He does spread the plague across a whole planet and summons millions of guys, but yeah, like I said, he's using the Black Pyramid. I'm just gonna leave him here for now. But if I'm being really fair, he didn't really use any of his own power, but he can infect mortals with his presence and control them from, it seems like, systems away. But that could also be the Black Pyramid. I'm just gonna put him in Chapter Master. The guy's is a loser. Wow, there's a lot of Chapter Master Demon Princes. Imagine the Chaos Gods are like whispering in your ear, we'll give you unimaginable powers. Just accept the curses. And then you're at the level of a Chapter Master. I would be so bummed. This is the worst deal I've ever seen in my life. Alright, Cor'bax Utterblight is next. The supposedly one of the strongest demon princes from the Horus Heresy. What does he do? Well, he is summoned first by the Word Bearers during the Battle of Calth and is used to nuke a sun. Not a really a straight up feat. He then helps create the Ruin Storm. Once again, not really a straight up feat. And then he is summoned during the Siege of Terra and fights Amon the Custody, and he loses to him. I think that easily puts him at the probably... If he loses to a Custodian, we'll put him at the back of Enhanced. Above a Chapter Master, but this tier is supposed to be between Low Primarch and a Custodian, so if there was a fictional tier, it would be right here. So if he can't beat a Custodian, I'm putting him back here. He is very hyped up throughout the Horus Heresy, and then he loses to a fucking Custodian. One Custodian, mind you, who is surrounded by terrified civilians. What a chump. Alright, next one. This guy's name I've been looking at throughout this video, and let me see if I'm saying this right. Garagulgor. Garagulgor. That's how I'm going to say it. Garagulgor, the Demon Prince of Nurgle. So what did he do? He led an invasion of a craft world and fought Prince Uriel, who wielded a crone sword, mind you. Crone swords are one of the most powerful swords in existence, and each of them have their own abilities, which is called the Spear of Twilight. Was able to kill a Hive Tyrant, which is already one of the stronger foes in the setting. I wouldn't say one of the strongest, but it's up there. So we don't know exactly what the Spear of Twilight does, but Garagulgor is able to actually straight up defeat Prince Uriel, and Prince Uriel is only saved by Yvraine using her plot armor. You need powers to revive him from the dead. So if he's able to defeat a legendary elf or Eldari who wields a crone sword, he's going in Low Primarch. I'm going to put him above the four nobodies. If we compare him with Uraka I'm trying to remember. What did Uraka do? So Uraka, let's see. He defeated a Bloodthirster and then was banished, so I'm going to put him over there. Arnokh, I think Arnokh was one of the first Khorne demons we did. He defeated Prince Celestine. Is Prince Celestine over Prince Uriel? No, he didn't even defeat Saint Celestine. He just wounded her. And then he got killed by plot armor. And then he defeated Tuska. And I don't think... Tuska defeated several demon princes. I'm going to leave the Blood Prince there. I think that's fair. Yeah. Thank God. Nurgle was scaring me, man. When I saw this and this. Like, this is the worst showing so far. Like, Khorne is all over up here. With only, like, one guy down here. And it's not even, like, his fault. It's more like he's roped in with the bums. And we don't have enough lore on him. But then these two Nurgle guys, not the best showing. Thank God for you, Gara Gulagor. Oh, come on, get back there. All right. Who's next? We have the... Wow, we don't really have a lot of Nurgle demon princes. The way I did this, guys, is I was looking through each of their lores. And if they didn't have a quantifiable feat or just like lore in general, I didn't put them on the list. There was originally 170 demon princes. So a couple of... Well, one of my good buddies on the Discord actually went through a good amount of them and made me a solid list of the quantifiable ones. And I went through that, and then I threw out the ones that I was like, some of these demon princes are bums. Like, there's already 3 guys in Gao's bums. There would have been like 25 if I had decided to consider all of them. Let me take a sip of coffee. So, we took 170 and we narrowed them down to 60. 60 guys. That's a feat in itself, guys. Who's power scaling me next? A fallen cow, am I above cosmic? Multiversal level? Who knows? Alright, who's next? How do you say this? Herpetus? I'm gonna say it like that. Herpetus. He is one of the Plague Lords from the former Death Guard Legion. He shattered the body of a Grey Knight Grand Master in combat, and these Grandmasters are some of the most powerful Psyker demon hunters in the world. So if he's able to defeat a Grandmaster, that's pretty impressive. He doesn't have any major defeats or anything like that. And he is one of Nurgle's top demonic prince lieutenants. Where does that put him? It puts him in high Primarch. That's an impressive showing. I think defeating a Grandmaster scales him over Malachite. Puts him over Shlishlikar, because we don't really know much about him besides his bloodbending Shadow Clone Jitsu, defeating another demon prince, which was kind of hard to scale, and he was able to, I think, yeah, he's got a pretty good assortment of feats, but not, I don't think, defeating a Grandmaster of the Grey Knights is insane. And I don't think he's above these guys who were shaking a planet and killing billions or millions while they were trying to get to each other. So I think I'm going to put him here in high Primarch. Thank God for you, Herpetus. You saved the Nurgles. They look like bums in my eyes. All right. Who is next? We have... What's his name? Afalarat. Afalarat. Is that how you say it? Afalarat. Yeah, sure. What did this guy do? He infested an Imperial frigate, turning it into a floating plague vessel, and then he was killed by a single Grey Knight champion. You suck, man. I'm gonna put him below here. I mean, a single Grey Knight defeated you, dude. Like, is that Chapter Master level feat? I don't know if a Grey Knight scales to a Chapter Master. They might be just simply stronger. I mean, Logan Grimnar kills one Grey Knight, but he kind of did it by surprise, and he's fucking Logan Grimnar. I'm gonna put him in the bottom of Enhanced. Yeah, because it's a fucking Grey Knight. It's stated as a Grey Knight champion. So I'm going to give it to them. It's kind of a funny feat because the ship is sinking into the warp while this is occurring, and the Grey Knight is going in by himself. He told all the other Grey Knights, get out of here, man. Save yourself. I got this. And he runs and he kills all these demons, and then it's like an afterthought. Him defeating the demon prince is an afterthought, and then he still escapes. Yeah, I'm going to put him in Chapter Master, man. It doesn't even seem like he put up a fight. What a fucking bum. God, should I put him in Cow's Bums? No. He still managed to do at least something unlike these three fellas. Okay. Ignatius Grulgor is next, and he is in the Flight of the Eisenstein. He's throughout the Horus Heresy. I think Mortarion summons him by killing the whole Death Shroud at one point. He is the embodiment of the virus. Is it the virus bomb? He has like that power around him. So he's already like a decent fella. He's the Eater of Lives. I think that's his like title. What feats does he have? He doesn't really have a lot. From what I've seen that we can quantify, is he destroys multiple Leman Russ tanks in battle. He has really powerful regeneration and can heal himself pretty much back to life even if he's at death's door. He's fighting Astra Militarum, which aren't really that strong in the terms of scaling the 40k universe, which is already fucking hard as it is. But if he's able to take out 3 Leman Russ tanks, he can heal, he has the virus bomb embodied within him. I would say he's at least low Primarch. This is just from what we've seen in his limited quantifiable data. I'm gonna put him in low Primarch, but you could also argue high empowered. What to do? Yeah, so he defeats 3 Leman Russ tanks. Does he do really anything else? Where do we see this? So we see this in the 8th edition Death Guard Codex. And then he's in the Flight of the Eisenstein. He's in Vengeful Spirit, the Path of Heaven, and the Buried Dagger. We just don't really see a lot from him, but he just absolutely bodies 3 Leman Russ tanks that have been shown to be at least competent. I know 1 Leman Russ tank has shot Ghazghkull Thraka through the chest and left a hole, so I'm gonna put him right here. I think Uraka defeated a Bloodthirster is just a better feat, even in his mortal form. And if he's a Demon Prince now, he has more enhanced stats. So I'm going to leave in Ignatius right here. I think that's like fair in the grand scheme of things, but it might not be like the best placement. I'm going to label this guy as a speculative pick that you guys could put anywhere really, except for Cow's Bums. He's not a direct bum. All right, that does it for Nurgle. Not the greatest showing. They have a guy in every single spot by the looks of it, except for Cow's Bum, so I guess that is a consolation pick. Next is Slaanesh with some crazy ass names next. Like, look at Lashtongue, Snarelust. Oh boy. You guys are some silly fellas. So we're starting things off with the Slaanesh boys, or I guess girls, with Ax'senaea. So Ax'senaea is a very surprising demon prince right off the bat. Her feats include subjugating 4 greater demons of Slaanesh, 4 keepers of secrets in a row, and then on the 4th one, she gets elevated to demonhood. She is doing this as a mortal psyker. So imagine now that she is a demon prince. So we're taking her mortal feats and we're enhancing them because as a demon prince, all of your base stats can improve. So she should be an immensely powerful psyker now that she is a warp being. So now that she's a demon prince, where would that put her? So greater demons are around here level. That would put her at least at low Primarch. Now here's a really cool tidbit. She also fights in the Siege of Terra. And using that feat, we can equate that she is also a really strong combatant. Now that may be a stretch as I've done throughout this video, but fighting in the Siege of Terra means that this demon knows it can at least tear through a stars. We didn't see her during the Siege of Terra because she's a fucking bum, like Cow's Bums. So where would that put her? She doesn't exactly have a lot of flashy fights, but using her lore scaling, she's at, like I said, at low Primarch at least. I think her bullying greater demons like they're fucking Gandhi puts her in high Primarch. I'm going to put her at the base of high Primarch, just simply the fact that she can chew out and absorb greater demons like Gandhi. And now as a demon prince, she should be inherently more powerful, and she fought at the Siege of Terra. Do I need to say more? I think that is a solid spot. Doom Rider is next, and Doom Rider, guys, his feats are really not as good as you think they are. So he is a demonic biker who hops around in the warp, blazing across battlefields, leaving flaming tracks and screaming skulls in his wake. He's fucking cool as hell. He's a very cool concept. But when you actually look at his feats, they're not very good. First off, he loses to Korsaro Khan. And I know some of you are like, wait, Cow! He beats Korsaro Khan, and then Korsaro kills him when he's not expecting it. That's true. But how is a demon prince gonna lose to a surprise attack? Oh wait, we've seen that many times. God, I hate Games Workshop. It doesn't make sense, guys. I need a sip of coffee. He may beat Korsaro Khan, but as he's driving away, as he's like trying to bring Korsaro into the warp, he gets killed by him. It's gonna be hard to quantify because he did beat Korsaro straight up, but then he lost to him while he was trying to drive into the warp. So let's say we put him against someone in roughly the empowered tier, a Custodes. Do we think Doom Rider could kill a Custodes? No! There's nothing in the lore that screams at me that this demon prince who rides around on a bike could defeat a Custodes. So I'm gonna do the highly controversial pick here and put him in Chapter Master. Highly controversial. You can argue with me all day, but I just don't see him beating a Custodes, and you can argue with me all day in the comments, and I'd be happy to because I love chatting in the comments with you guys. It's so silly and fun. But I don't see him beating a Custodes, which is below the empowered tier. I don't even see him being a greater demon. You know what I mean? If you're getting taken surprised by a space marine and getting your head taken off, you deserve to be in Chapter Master. End of story. Alright, next we have a really fun name, Lushcrix Lashtongue. Great name. You're really selling that Slaanesh theme. He's a demon prince of Slaanesh, obviously, and a commander of the demonic Dreadspeed Conclave. He fought during the 13th Black Crusade and was on Cadia when it was destroyed. His feats are not really there, besides carving through an entire hive city, but with that, I think he's considerable to these two, that he doesn't really have a lot of feats, but what we do see is he's a competent commander, but nothing that really screams at me that he is a monster in combat. So I'm going to leave him here in Empowered. These three are inseparable. I'm just going to put him below him because he has a bigger warband, he has a pretty sizable warband, and we know nothing about him. Alright, Lilesh Snarelust. Lilesh Snarelust. Bro, I love Slaanesh because they have the silliest fucking names. Another demon prince of Slaanesh. This guy is a hater of the Eldar, and he is ultimately killed by Hive Chieftain Nadu with a lance to the heart. So he can't exactly beat the Eldar. So where does that leave him? Probably in the enhanced tier. I think the Eldar are probably less than the Custodians in this case. He's a jet biker that kills him. A Hive Chieftain at that, but a jet biker nonetheless. So not an enhanced being like a Custodes, but still, I don't even know if that's over chapter. Yeah, I would say he's over Chapter Master because he was fighting multiple jet bikers at once. So I'm going to leave him here in Empowered. I think that's fair. It just doesn't really show much besides that. He commands a lot of demons in their war against the Eldar of Samhain, but he doesn't really do much outside of that. Yeah, I'm going to leave Lilesh Snarelust here. Poor Slaanesh, they're just not doing as well as Khorne. Yeah, Khorne is doing the best. And it's funny because this is my video, so it's like, Cal, what the fuck are you talking about? You're the one ranking all these. But I'm being objective, guys, right? I'm being very objective here. All right, N'Kari. Now, N'Kari is very controversial, not because of her feats or his feats or whatever, but because he's a greater demon stated in lore and also a demon prince. So it's the lore about him is very contradictory, and I think I'm going to include him when I eventually do the greater demons as well, because why the fuck not? So I'm going to include him here on the demon prince list and on the greater demon list. So what does N'Kari do? Well, he is said to have fought the Emperor, but this has been retconned due to the end and the death. But he was present on Terra during the fighting, so that means he's at least a competent demon prince, fighting Custodes and Stormseers at the Colossi Gate. His biggest feat, though, is defeating Osserman the Phoenix Lord before being banished by another Phoenix Lord, Drostanta. I don't know if that's how you say either of those names, but I'm just going to go with it. Osserman is stated to be at least at Primarch level, and if N'Kari is able to defeat him, and we've been arguing about this in the Discord, and it's hard to say whether this was a straight-up duel or not, but in my eyes it was. From the 6th edition Eldar Codex, I think it was a straight-up duel. I think Osserman fought a lot of demons before N'Kari got to him, so he might have been tired, but from what we can gather from the 6th edition is that they had a straight-up duel and N'Kari defeated him. With that alone, I think I'm going to put him in High Primarch over her, over Periclitor, and probably over Shlyslikar, and probably over Herbitus, low-key. Herbitus defeated a Grandmaster of the Grey Knights. I think Osserman is way above that. I don't think she's above these two. These two are just, their feat is so silly that it puts them at a different level of High Primarch, kind of. They shook an entire planet, guys. Like, I don't see any of these other guys doing that. Like, that's just, like, very silly. It puts them a little bit, like, above the rest of these guys. And if we want to get really into it, to solidify her pick, she absorbed thousands of Eldar Soulstones aboard Craftworld Maltai, becoming so powerful that it took a Grey Knight strike force, 12 Fallen Purifiers, and a full-on ritual to banish this Demon Prince. I think that easily solidifies him as a High Primarch tier. Oh my god, I can see the end. It's wonderful. We have 13 left, starting with Julius Caesaron, Demon Prince of the Emperor's Children. I love Julius Caesaron. If you've ever read the book Fulgrim, you'll understand why. He starts off as a pretty cool guy, and then he falls to Slaanesh during the McIlvania Theater, or however you say it. And then he gets half his face burned off fighting Gabriel Santar during the Dropside Massacre. And he kind of like laughs it off and then kills Gabriel Santar. And Gabriel Santar's like, what the fuck, man? Your face just got burned off. And he's like, oh my god, that was exquisite pleasure. Thank you for that. It's like, what the fuck, dude? You're creeping me out, man. But I fucking love that shit. It's fucking awesome. So, what does Julius Caesaron do in terms of feats? Not much. He loses to an Iron Hands Warband in his Demon Prince form, and he fails to take over a planet. There's really not much besides that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for Gabriel Santar. I don't think he's chapter master level because as a normal basis Astartes, he's able to kill a first captain, albeit it wasn't really a straight up fair duel, but I still don't think he's chapter master. I'm going to put him at the bottom of enhanced, below everyone else. I think that's a happy middle ground. If there was a Custodes tier, I would put him in Custodes, but there isn't, so I'm going to leave him in enhanced. And now we come to the second to last Demon Primarch, Mr. Fulgrim. So right off the bat, we can assume he's already planetary. But now we have to debate once again amongst the Demon Primarchs. So what does Fulgrim have going for him? So Fulgrim is both one of the best duelists in the setting, and he is now a psychic monster as a Demon Primarch. So Fulgrim is a really tough one. He defeats Ferris twice in the book Fulgrim. He doesn't really fight Perty in Angels Exterminatus. I don't really want to call that a fight because he kind of sneak attacks Perturabo, and Perturabo hits him like once, and then Fulgrim ascends. I'm not going to really call that a fight. And then he fights Rogel Dorn in his Demon Primarch form during the book Saturn, I believe. And that fight doesn't really make any fucking sense. I feel like the writers at Games Workshop always try to show that the Demon Primarchs they're stronger on paper, but they're now corrupted and warp beings, so they get like distracted by their warp natures and stuff like that. And like, for example, Angron's so blinded by his rage that he loses to the lion. So Fulgrim's so blinded by his lust for sensations, and since Dorn is like a closed off wall and not giving him anything, he's like, fuck, this fight sucks, I'm dipping. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense in my eyes. Like, Fulgrim should not lose to Rogel Dorn. He should fuck the shit out of him in a straight up duel, but that doesn't happen, and it's silly. But what do we see from him with his psychic powers are absolutely insane. So in the book Reflection Cracked, he's able to destroy a Warlord Titan with his psychic powers. He crushes it like a fucking grape. So that shows that his psychic powers are scaling to at least Titan level, which is already pretty impressive. And he should be even more refined now 10,000 years later. He's an expert duelist now that he has 4 arms. He should be even better. So on paper, he should be better than Lorgar. And I know all the Lorgar friends or people who love him are like, what the fuck, cow? And I'm going to say to all 6 of you, Lorgar has nothing to really show that he's strong. And until you show me otherwise, I'm putting him at the back of the pack. At least he's over Be'lakor, guys. Like, come on. At least give him some credit. He's probably over Mortarion. I don't think his dueling skills are going to be able to outmatch Fulgrim, who's going to be incredibly fast, and their psychic powers are probably going to be exactly even. So you have a better duelist, and if their psychic powers are close to or even, I just don't see Fulgrim losing. And then I'm putting him over Perturabo. His elegance and finesse will defeat this guy. But when it comes to Angron, it is going to be like a brick wall fighting I don't know, what's like a snake. That's, I don't know about that metaphor, but if they fought against each other, I don't think Angron would lose because he would keep pressing the attack and not allow Fulgrim to deal a lethal strike because he'll just keep regenerating over and over again because he's in the thick of a fight. So if he's fighting, he's just not going to really lose. And since Fulgrim's not going to have the, strategical might of Lion or the Emperor's Shield for that matter, I just don't think he'll win. And if you could say, oh, what about Fulgrim's psychic abilities, man? He could throw shit at him, or he can crush a Titan. Why can't he just crush Angron? Well, because he has the psychic, he has the ability to ignore most psychic attacks, so that leaves that side of Fulgrim completely useless in the face of Angron. And I just don't see it happening. But I think Fulgrim, like I said in my Demon Primarch video, is the number 3 spot. Right now he's number 2, but we haven't gotten to Magnus yet. He'll eventually maybe be 3. Spoilers. But you guys can argue with me yet again. But he has killed Ferrus Manus. He defeated Guilliman quite easily as a Demon Primarch. And I think he's only gotten stronger since then. His only weakness is his lust for ketamine. But everything else, I just don't really see him losing to these 3. Alright, now we get to Tzeentch. So we have 12 guys left. Oh my god, guys. We are nearing the end of the video. How have I been doing? How are we doing? We're probably nearing 2 hours at least, maybe 3. I've lost track of time. Time is an enigma. Perfect for Tzeentch. So we have Corflich Loatheheart right off the bat. So what does Corflich Loatheheart do? He is a pretty high-tier demon prince right off the bat. Tzeentch, I'm going to say, might rival Khorne, because Khorne is like right up in your face and fighting, you know what I mean? So they're going to have really good feats right off the bat. That's why Nurgle and Slaanesh kind of suffer, because their faction isn't going to really highlight that. Nurgle's going to highlight their ability to corrupt planets with their disgusting decay, and Slaanesh is going to be like gross and perverse. But Tzeentch is going to really, their demon princes and the lore are going to really show off their magic like Khorne does their combat ability. So where does that put Corflich Loatheheart? Well, this dude has some insane fucking feats, guys. Insane feats. He's eradicated an entire planet's population in 3 nights, which puts him at least maybe high Primarch. But that's fucking insane. He's enslaved and captured 300 elite Tau warriors in a single night. And then he has trapped an Dark Elder Archon in the warp. I don't think he's destroyed a planet, but I think that puts him at high Primarch right off the bat. Like, those are some pretty insane feats. And since he's a Tzeentchian demon, he should be incredibly powerful at manipulating the warp and using magic. I think that easily puts him at high Primarch, probably above these 2, that he was able to straight up massacre an entire population by himself. Look at that. Right off the bat, we have the Tzeentch demons flexing their spooky purple powers. And in typical Tzeentch fashion, we have an even stronger guy next. How the fuck do you say this guy? Garagatuluth. First time. What did he do? So he was tracked for nearly a century by the Imperium, requiring 300 Grey Knights and a Grey Master to confront him, and all of them died, including the Grand Master. That is an insane feat. Probably planetary, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, what else do we see him do that would cement that? He manipulates entire star systems indirectly via mortal proxies, which isn't like an insane combat feat, but that means he would be able to install cults across multiple star systems, and if he really wanted to, he could stage a grand Tzeentch ritual and destroy all those star systems indirectly. That's kind of a reach, you could say, and not really a combat feat, but defeating 300 Grey Knights and a Grey Master, like, come on. That's insane. I don't think I'm going to put him over these guys, but that's a planetary feat, man. Like, 300 Grey Knights is quite the fucking force. I mean, that's like, I don't even think Angron killed 300 Grey Knights, if I'm remembering correctly. And I don't want to put him over Angron just because of that simple sample size, but I think he deserves to be in at least planetary tier. Alright, next. So are all the Tzeentch fucking guys gonna be like the strongest motherfuckers ever? I mean, we have this guy. So I would not be surprised. So who is next? We have Ss'll. Ss'll. Dude, why are these names so fucking silly? He emerged on a Blood Angels battle barge, and he battled a chapter master and lost. So I mean, that's pretty fucking... Damn, there's so many chapter master guys. It's so disappointing. You guys stink. Do we put him below? So he straight up lost to a no-name chapter master, a Blood Angels chapter master. This is probably before Dante's time. He fought Saint Celestine and lost. These guys fought Logan Grimnar. I'm gonna put probably below the Witness because he lost to Calgar. He got distracted by a bayonet. I'm gonna put him right here. Ss'll. Don't do too much math, kids. Sorry, bad joke. Who's next? We have Vyrokan the Sullied, a Tzeentchian demon prince. This guy commands a warband of demon engines, plague marines, cultists, and numerous thousand sons during the assault on the Imperium city of Valmar Magna. What did he do there? Well, he got defeated and banished by the Dark Angels he was defeated by a Dark Angels task force led by Chief Librarian Ezekiel and a Free Blade Knight. So he was defeated by a powerful librarian, one of the strongest in 40k, or at least on the loyalist side, and a knight. So where does that put him? I'm going to put him in enhanced, because getting defeated by those two is not like the worst feat. I'm going to put him over Cor'bax, but below these three. I think that's a solid spot, I want to say. Yes, I'm going to leave him right here. Next, we have Zadkiel, and this is a kind of a funny one. He is considered a major threat by Mephiston, one of the strongest psychers in 40k. Like, straight up, he can stop fucking time like Time Wizard. Go time roulette! Sorry, I let my New Jersey Joey side get out right there. He fights alongside Magnus in the attempt to bring the Silver Towers into the material realm, and he fucks up. He fucks up the ritual, and so Magnus banishes him back into the warp. That's all we really see from him. He's got no combat feats, no nothing. I'm going to put him in Gau's bums, honestly. He fucks up a ritual that doesn't seem that hard, and Magnus says, "Get the hell out of here, you loser." Kind of similar to Angra Mainyu, and the fact that they both failed and were so banished from their Patreon side. You're a fucking loser, Zadkiel. You look cool, but you're a loser. Oh my god, we're almost done. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. And we have Ss'll the Usurper next. I know he's not technically a demon prince. He's a demon king, whatever the fuck that means. But I wanted to include him because he's kind of silly. So, in the lore, in the book Hereticus, chapter 17, thank you. He is said to be a lieutenant, warlord, or a prince of Tzeentch. And in that time, there was only 3 chaos gods because Slesh had not been born. So this is probably happening during the War in Heaven or even earlier. And it is said that he had so much power that he attempted to usurp Tzeentch himself in a war that lasted for 1 billion years. Eventually, he was defeated and destroyed. What the fuck, guys? This is like the only thing we see, but that is cosmic. That's above Vashtor. Is that above Angron, who's wielding Khorne's full might? It possibly could be. If it took 1 billion years for this fella, the Demon Gang, to be defeated by a Chaos God, but also time in the warp doesn't make sense now that I'm thinking about it. So 1 billion years could have passed in a heartbeat. But if he had the power to fight on a Chaos God, I don't think that puts him over Angron, low-key. Because Angron was channeling the full might of Khorne, and Khorne is a Chaos God, probably similar to Tzeentch, and since our boy here, the Usurper, cannot fully defeat Tzeentch, I'm going to put him below Angron. I think that's fair, but that's like insane. This is old lore, guys. You will never probably see this ever again in the world of 40K, where there is like an oh my god, unknown demon gang. Sorry, I like fucked up saying a word there. Where we see like an unknown demon king who is powerful enough to challenge a Chaos God. We'll never probably see that again because Games Workshop is not that ballsy anymore and not that silly. Magnus the Red, do I need to say this? He's the strongest demon Primarch. He's in Cosmic. Now the real question is, can he defeat Vashtor the Archifane? So Magnus the Red is easily a Cosmic level person. And I know some people are saying, and I'm going to put on my cowboys, but Cow! Magnus the Red loses to Leman Russ. He loses to Vulcan. He loses to everyone. Well, dude, I'm going to walk through each of those fights. So, it is said in 1,000 Suns that Magnus the Red has already been sharded, crazy statement, to already be sharded at the time of Prospero Burns. So when he's fighting Leman Russ, he is in a weakened state. I can pull up the exact excerpt if you guys want to challenge me in the comments and do so, because I love looking up excerpts. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not going to lie, sometimes I'll look up like Siege of Terra fun excerpt and I'll read it while I'm taking a poopsie. I'm just like, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm autistic. Yes, but they fight. He fights him in a weakened state, and furthermore, Magnus the Red is also at the same time trying to fight both Leman Russ's wolves and trying to get all of his sons off the planet. So he's doing multiple things at once, and he still puts up quite the fight to Leman Russ in a weakened state, mind you. Then we can look at his fight with Vulcan. He kills Vulcan so many times, guys. It's like a part of Echoes of Eternity that Magnus the Red is fucking up Vulcan. He's atomizing him. He's changing his form. He's literally changing Vulcan's body for him not to have a mouth and to suffocate. Have you ever seen a Primarch be manipulated like that? It's insane. Magnus has, if we go into his abilities, he has the ability to move entire fleets in orbit. He can toss them around with his mind. He has insane telekinesis and telepathy. He can read minds from across the galaxy. He can manipulate reality, time, and space. And just due to the writing that Games Workshop has done for this fella, he looks like a fucking bum. But in reality, he is a cosmic level threat. He is insanely powerful. But now the real question is he over Vashtor the Archifane? Over a demigod? It's so hard, guys. This is like a really hard debate in my head. And I don't really know. I'm going to have to like think about it. Let me think. Let me use my cow brain. The cow calculations need to be computed. Give me uno momento. Okay, here's my argument for Magnus. Magnus is the second strongest psyker in the universe. He is right below the Emperor, and he should be, on paper, stronger than that now. He should be stronger than anything in the galaxy, but he's never written like that. Just bear with me, okay? If he's a psyker monster and a demon prince, he should be very close to one of the strongest beings in the universe, completely. I wouldn't say he's above these two, definitely not, but can he beat Vashtor? He's a demigod. Oh, man. And Vashtor's close to ascending to Chaos Hood. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Magnus can pull that one out. I really don't think Magnus could challenge Vashtor the Archifane, who's nearing godhood, about to ascend to 5th Chaos God, and Tzeentch, and Magnus is still just a part of Tzeentch. Albeit he is really powerful, I just don't see him being over Vashtor, the silly weapons dealer of chaos. And with that, we finish the Tzeentch section. I think this is pretty solid so far, yeah. Alright, we have 6 left. Fuck me. Next we have Bublagor. That's how you say that. He is a demon prince of chaos. We don't really know any of these 6 guys' allegiances, but we know that they're demon princes. What did he do? Well, he annihilated the human population of Kolklis, originally a Necron tomb lord, claiming the planet as his lair and turning it into a lifeless orb. And then when the Necrons arose, he defeated all of them, obliterating them and controlling the planet yet again. That's a pretty fucking insane feat. Oh, and he commands an army of bloodletters. He's either High Primarch or Planetary. He fights the Necrons, which are inherently really strong against warp-based foes, and if he killed a Necron Lord or Overlord, that's pretty insane. I'm gonna put him, because he didn't just necessarily destroy a planet, I'm gonna put him at the very top of High Primarch. Like, that's an insane feat, guys. Like, defeating a whole Necron dynasty and easily controlling an army of greater demons, I think that's a High Primarch guy right there. Alright, next we have Kur'obaeli. No, that's not how you say that. Kur'obael. Sherbel. Fuck, guys, you're seeing how illiterate I am. I can't even say the fucking word. God damn it! I'm gonna toss it up to being sitting at my desk for almost 3 hours now. Sherbel. We're gonna go with that one. He is from the Beckwin books with Eisenhorn. He serves Eisenhorn right now currently. What does he do? Well, he's right now a demon host, so we're not going to be exclusively looking at that. We're looking at his form as a demon prince. So when he was a demon prince, he was enslaving entire star systems for millennium, drove entire sectors into war for centuries, committed mass genocides, and forced millions into ritual sacrifices. He has the titles of Death of Worlds and the Scourge, and like I said, is currently in a demon host, which nullifies most of his powers. But when he has been let off the hook, he's been able to destroy a Chaos Titan. I think he's not a planetary foe, because I think him, like, doing those actions, but I think it puts him in High Primarch. I'm going to put him below Nakari, but above these 3, I think. Because if he is a demon host, he is inherently weaker because he's using a mortal vessel. But imagine him as a demon prince in his full awakened form. If he was able to subjugate entire SAR systems and drive millions into mass genocides, I think using that logic, and in a demon host, he's able to kill a Chaos Titan, he should scale vastly above that as a demon prince. So I'm going to put him right here. I think that's fair, even though I can't say his fucking name. Gender Scrivok. Get off my wall. Ring any bells? This guy's a punk. Loser. A, common L, so to speak. A Rolderon dub. All the time. The Painted Count. He's a demon prince of the Night Lord's Legion. And what does he do when he fully ascends to demonhood after getting kicked off the wall in The Lost and the Damned? He is killed by Supreme Grandmaster Nabrius of the Dark Angels and defeated by Chief Librarian. Oh no, he killed the Grandmaster of the Dark Angels, actually. And he was defeated by Chief Librarian Ezekiel. Where does that put him? I think it puts him probably right here. I'm going to say actually below, because it seems like he was fighting Azrael and Ezekiel as opposed to a knight and Ezekiel, and I think that puts him below a Custodes. Some of this logic is going to be hard to track, but I think that one makes sense. Yeah, below a Custodes, since Azrael is a straight up space marine, albeit a really powerful one, but he's still a space marine at the end of the day, I'm going to leave him there. Yeah. All right, next we have Gwenola. Gwenola. Yes. Yes. I don't know. What does this fella do? He has witnessed galaxies rise and fall and has destroyed entire star systems for its amusement. What the fuck? Okay. That's kind of insane. He also fought the Angel. So if you guys don't know, the Angel is a being said to be twice as tall as a man with massive wings, glowing with a halo of energy, and wielding a flaming sword that leaves a trail of blue fire. The Angel can destroy entire cities and armies in seconds, is completely immune to psychic attacks, and suffers no real harm from physical attacks. Strikes only slow it or stun it. What? The Angel is such an overwhelmingly powerful being in the setting. It's kind of insane the Emperor didn't unleash him during the Horus Heresy. It seems like it was half-baked lore, Games Workshop, looking at you. But this fellow right here, Gwenola, was able to fight the Angel, this being who is said to be immune to psychic attacks and physical attacks and can destroy cities in seconds. He fought him for quite a long time, I want to say. He fought him, I think it's stated in the Inquisitor Conspiracies 2 or Inquisitor's Annual that they fought for an extended period of time, and he was eventually defeated and banished back into the warp. But if he was able to fight the Angel for a period of time, I think that puts him over this guy, puts it over DOOMBREED. It may put him over Be'lakor. If he's stated to destroy entire star systems for amusement, I think that puts him over Angron. He might be a cosmic foe, honestly, or he might be at the very top of planetary. This would be a very tough debate with two guys left. Of course, we have one of the strongest beings who comes out of fucking nowhere. It's Periclitor with the high rope chair. Here he comes on the steel chair. I don't know. I'm going delusional. Yeah, he comes in the steel chair, and he's stronger than probably most of these Demon Primarchs. I don't think these guys could beat the Angel. I kind of want to power scale the Angel now. Like, this guy seems insane. Like, losing to the Angel is by far not an anti-feat. It makes him seem like a fucking boss. I'm going to say destroy entire star systems. I'm going to put him right here. But since we don't really know a lot of him, I'm going to say he's not as strong as Magnus, because Magnus can do some crazy-ass shit, or theoretically should be able to do some crazy-ass shit. I'm going to leave him right here. I would love to power scale the Angel, guys. That sounds like a fun video. Two left. Oh my god. Vashtor next. Vashtor. That's how you say that. He is the Chorus of the Denied, the Song of Endless Rapture. A demon prince of the Ruin Storm who participated in the Horus Heresy and notably during the Siege of Terra. During that, he took control of the Hollow Mountain where the Astronomicon is housed, and eventually was confronted by Corswain and the Dark Angels and banished by the librarian Vasego. That's kind of it for this guy. Does not really have any other feats besides that. I'm going to put him in Enhanced. We don't really know how strong Vasego is, so using that logic, I'm just going to put him ahead of Julius Caesaron, who loses to the Iron Hands Warband. But he loses to Vasego, who's a powerful librarian, but he does get stabbed in the back by Cypher and the other Fallen Gang. So I think that's a good spot for him. And then we finally come to, last but not least, we come to Marbus, the only recorded fallen demon prince. What do we know about him? He led a demon prince army and invaded the Rock, causing significant casualties to the Dark Angels, and survived encounters with most of the Dark Angels' Terminator and Deathwing units. But on the other side, he did not take on any really high-powered foes or multiple elite Space Marines like Azrael or Ezekiel. So what do we do with him? He eventually was forced to retreat from that battle, so he did not really achieve his victory. I'm going to put him in Enhanced, I want to say. Probably below Julius Caesaron. I don't think he really demonstrates any feats, and since we could put him ahead of Julius, because I guess he didn't exactly lose to just a warband, but he was assaulting the rock. So I'm gonna put him right there. I think that's fair. Obviously, these power scaling lists are kind of hard because 40K is power scaling at its hardest. It's like taking inconsistent writing and trying to make it make sense, which is fucking impossible, as you've watched me struggle throughout this video. But I think that does it. Is that, oh my god, we're done. This is it. It's honestly pretty, it's all over the place, which I kind of like. There's not any, all these are pretty equal. I mean, Cosmic has 5 guys in, which is, thank God, makes sense. We have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Planetary, 10 in High Primarch, 9 in Low Primarch, 12 in Empowered, 12 in Chapter Master, and 4 in Cow's Bums. The Demon Primarchs, once again, were really hard to scale, but I think this makes sense. And I think my logic is still correct from my Demon Primarch video, which I released in fucking May, which seems like a lifetime ago, but it was only like, what, 6 months ago, 7 months ago? That's my most viewed video on my channel, so thank God the logic still holds up. But this has been a Fallen Cow ranking every single Demon Prince from weakest to strongest. I'm going to put the tier list down in the video description, so if you guys want to do the same tier list, you're welcome to do it. I'm going to do this probably for the greater demons, just to test how well these videos do. It's straight up power scaling, unlike the other utterly ranked videos I've done. So in preparation for the ranking every single Primarch form in Warhammer 40K, I'm so excited to do that, man. I hope I can get a collab for that, or multiple, so there's like 7 of us arguing at once. That would be a splendid time. But yeah, that does it for this video. The Star Wars vs 40K video has been delayed for the foreseeable future. It's so hard to write, guys. I'm like 46 pages in, and after I did the stream, like the brackets, I picked the brackets, I was soft writing how I would proceed, and it was so fucking difficult. I switched out some of the Star Wars characters to make it more even, but even then, guys, it's fucking hard. So I'm just gonna delay it for right now. So the next video will be who is the strongest orc from each clan, and then I think I'll do the scariest Xenos in 40K, or how strong are the Phoenix Lords, and then I think we'll finally get to the Chaos Warbands. Sorry, this month has just been really hectic for me, and I've just been super overwhelmed with life, but it's like good things. Really good things are going on in my life that have distracted me, but it's not like a bad thing. But I'm going to try to get or divert a lot more free time into making videos in the month of November. So just bear with me, folks. I love my herd, and I hope you enjoyed me ramble for 2 hours probably on random silly demon princes. Once again, this is how the final rankings look. I will slowly go down here to see them all. We have quite a few characters here, and I hope you enjoyed it. Stay milked, stay thirsty, and as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video.